Welcome to episode 19 of the Life Coaching with Ryan book club. We are talking The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning by Margareta Magnusson. As always, I hope I pronounced her name correctly. It is Swedish. I do not speak any Scandinavian languages, so I do not say it with confidence. I am reading the book in chunks based on grouping together some of the subheaders. This book does not have chapters. It has headers. And so I am generally grouping them by kind of topic, subtopic, though it is fairly wide-ranging and simultaneously incredibly simple. Margaret identifies herself as between 80 and 100 multiple times throughout. I know I mentioned that in a previous video. I bring it up because clearly there's a bit of a sense of humor that she slips in, and yet it is quite practical. There are a few personal stories that intermingle. If you've ever read Merle's Door, it's a biography of a dog, and it is a combination of the biography of this dog Merle as well as information about dogs and their relationship with humans in general. So a couple quick highlights of pages 20, what are we on, 21 through 46 or 23? 23 through 46. I am doing chunks of approximately 23 pages, depending again on content. She focuses on, in these pages, a lot about the planning of death cleaning and the preparation for moving that is often accompanied by it, and sadly sometimes the cleaning up after someone else. She talks about her third experience with death cleaning, which was for her husband. And she discusses how in Sweden in her generation, men tended not to clean up, but rather to hoard, and also tended not to have a lot of skills of their own, and it was the women in their lives who were forced to clean up after them in one way or the other, living or dead, and what her experience was of that. And again, encouraging people to start death cleaning now. There's no reason to wait. You can still keep things that you love, but you probably have way more than you need. So she talks about happy people. Though it takes time to set up an orderly household, it's worth it. She was describing how once she had a certain number of kids, I think it was 4 or 5, she made the foyer of her house like a preschool, so that each kid had hooks for jackets and little cubbies. So that took a little time to set up, but it takes as much time to hang a jacket on a hook as it does to throw it on a couch. And then you don't have to look for something later because someone moved it or whatever else. You always know where it is. I find in my life it is the initial effort of organization that I struggle with. It's like I don't want to make the investment, but ultimately it would make my entire life easier, so the investment is worth it. If it's not nice enough to give as a gift, why keep it? That was just an inspiration that popped into my head while I was reading this, as she described walking people through her home so that they could take objects or giving things away. If it was crappy, she wouldn't want to give it away. She's going to throw it out. So I thought, well, if I'm eventually going to have to get rid of this stuff or give it away or what have you, why keep anything that I wouldn't want to give away, that it wouldn't be fit to give as a gift? That's just something that I want to meditate on more. There are objects that I have because I've had them for a long time and they're not working as well that I could replace. Or if I don't have the money to replace, I use it till it completely falls apart and I have to buy a new one. That's just economics. But if I have more than enough of something, whether it's of a category of object or just objects in general, why not only keep the best? Brooke Castillo talks about that too. I just thought, if I think about everything in my life, everything in my space here, as something that would eventually be given to someone else, how would it transform what I keep? She also talks about Vikings being Swedish, being of Scandinavian blood, and she wonders if they didn't have it right burying so many objects with the deceased, because then people don't get caught up in memories by having that person's objects around them all the time. They also have just less crap. And she jokes that it would require Olympic-sized swimming pools now to bury people with their belongings, and that just seems needless and silly. Make death cleaning a simple, everyday occurrence. She said, this is my paraphrase of what she said, on 2 levels. 1, sometimes death cleaning takes a long time, and she doesn't recommend people rush. That adds an emotional component that's not necessary. Also, as we know, doing small things regularly is much less strain than doing large things at once, especially if that at once isn't enough time to get it done, and there's a tendency to burn out. So she recommends doing small things regularly over time. She said it took her over a year to downsize from the home she was living in into a small apartment after her husband passed. That she really cherished the money she saved, the experiences she had with people as she contacted, say, auctioneers about belongings, friends about belongings, that she enjoyed that process. So there is value in potentially just doing something small every day. Lastly, organize with the future in mind. I thought that was interesting because, again, she was thinking in advance, I'm going to move to this apartment. I want to go measure it. I want to know what I have now will actually fit there, so don't bring things I don't need to bring that don't work. But that could be generalized. Again, when I look at all of my stuff, I think if in an ideal world, I move to a house, what would I want that house to look like? How many of the objects I currently have would I even want in that space? Have I just brought them because I own them? Do I really need them? Can I get rid of them? Are they replaceable? Can I sell them for money? Can I give them away to charity? Is there someone else that could be using these, or are they just trash? By organizing with the future in mind, I greatly reduce complications that I will have potentially in the future because I don't know what to do with something, or it's just a bunch of crap to lug around. My partner jokes that we have a sophisticated college student style, i.e. a lot of our stuff came from when we were in college. And in college, we tend to cobble together hand-me-downs and quickly bought items to solve problems, and they tend to follow us. So while I'd say our styling is a little more sophisticated than that, if you look around, other than our shelves, most of this stuff came with us from either college or the first apartment we had after college. Is this really what we want? Is this how we want to plan for our future? So, last time I asked what is a small thing you can do in your space that'll drastically improve it? That's essentially still my question, but I'm wondering more specifically, if you had the future in mind, what would you change in your space? I.e., get stuff away, give stuff away, whether it's get rid of it, throwing it out, recycling, charity, whatever. What is an action that you would take to prepare for that future you want in the context of your stuff? With that, I hope you have a fantastic day. You're having a fantastic week. I will talk to you very soon, and be well.